Movie, we're gonna look at one of those nice cities which received an update as part of World Update number 11 already. In this case it's Montreal, which received a lot of say photogrammetry updates as well as I would say point of interest. Right, so we're currently flying a little bit too high, so we're decreasing altitude so we can look a little bit closer at it. So the part where you will find most point of interest is, I would say, a little bit further, right? You can see the city is, I would say, pretty big. It's also close to, I would say, a pretty big airport, so you can always land on it if you want. So let's slowly climb down and then have a look at those points which have been added, as well as the city itself, which received the photogrammetry update. As you see, we're slowly, I would say, going down, right? We're having a really slow pace, so let's increase the speed a bit. And also push the stick a little bit more forward. While we're flying, right, you can already see that there are some supporting facilities. I would say just with the right wheel of the aircraft. That's one of those nice things. It's also pretty close to a lake, so we will probably see one or more bridges. You can already see one on the right end already, but I do expect some more over there. Push the stick a little bit further because else we are decreasing a little bit too slow. The other thing which you see in this case is a lot of point of interest, right? All those white dots which you see on the map or see on the screen, those are, I would say, point of interests. So that's really cool, right? So here we have the park Montreal. And then we would say fly close to the other points, we can also see them. Right, so in the surroundings, right, you can see a lot of nature, a lot of, I would say, trees, also a lot of roads and a lot of city. On the right side in the water there are some boats traveling over there, right, so that's really cool to see. Can go a little bit too slow, right? So let's push the stick a little bit further because we want to say also make some progress. And of course we need to watch out we're not going to go in over speed, right? So first thing which is already, I'd say, changed compared to, let's say, prior to World Update number 11 are those, I would say, buildings, right, on the island. They are now elevated. It's not as flat as anymore as it was prior to the World Update, and I always like to have those, I would say, nice add-ons, which because makes more realistic, right? Fortunately, I've never been to the city, so if you live in the city, then let me know if it's, I would say, realistic or if some things are already changed. That might be the case because I would say Bing Maps is not always up to date, right? So be aware of that. Slowly decrease altitude, although as you can see on the altimeter on the right side we're gonna go a little bit harder right now, because else I'm afraid that we're not, let's say, close to it enough to see the scenery when we enter the city center, which is in front of us. On the right side you see the Orator St. Joseph. While keeping an eye on the speed. And in front of us there's the Musée des Beaux-Arts and there's the Bassin Pew. So still decreasing altitude. We're almost bypassing 5,000 feet, right? So we're coming closer. But ideally we should be around 2,500, 2,000 feet. Here you can see a lot of buildings, right? You can see that there's a lot of elevated buildings, and that was not, let's say, prior to this World Update, as already mentioned, also for the other island. So that's cool to see. And there are tons of handcrafted point of interest. Again, one of them is the Basilique Notre Dame, which is right in front of us. And then we see there are the Habitat. We see another one. yes, but it's sometimes it's really hard to get the names over there. It's the Museum of Archaeology and History. You see there's a typo in the name. Probably will be fixed in one of those future updates. And here you can see the city center, right? So you can see a lot of large towers, really detailed. But let's fly over them, I would say, in a few minutes on a lower altitude. Some yachts, some smaller boats. The La Ronde and the Jacques Cartier Bridge. And in front of us there's the Olympic Stadium, right? So there's also Olympic Stadium pretty close to it. But let's first make a turn because we're already at 1100 feet. And let's first have another closer look at the city itself before we're gonna go to the Montreal Botanical Garden and of course the Olympic Stadium. Mount Royal Cross, also pretty close to the city as you can see.
Montreal approach Porter 471 is at 10,000 feet, descending 4,000 feet.
Here we have the details, right? So you can see a nice wheel on the left side, almost in the water, right? It's over there, as you can see.
Montreal approach Jazz 79
And then we have the city here. You can see the sun is shining, although there's looks like it's a little bit foggy in the air.
Climb and maintain 4,000 feet. Expect ILS runway 24 right approach. Violana transition.
And you can see all those buildings, right? You can see a lot of details being added, right? You can see the roofs, you can almost read the letters on it. In some cases there are company names on buildings, and they will also be incorporated. And a nice building also inside, right? You can see the green roof over there. Move over there. There you see. In some cases, when you're coming very close to those buildings, you will see that it's not as nice as handcrafted buildings. Keep in mind that this is photogrammetry content, right? So based on big maps. So it's, I would say, not the quality compared to handcrafted buildings. But still, I would say it's great that they spend so much time on adding this content to Flight Simulator. And the good thing is, of course, that it's for free, right? So if you already bought Flight Simulator, you will get these additional sceneries, those world updates, those city updates for free. So flying over some point of interests. A house and some nice, looks like a radio tower or something on the left hand. Mount Royal Cross. Because it's really a cross, as you can see. There we're going a little bit outside of the city center. Also still some elevated buildings, but not as much as compared to, let's say, the city center itself. And we're gonna, let's say, go en route to the Olympic Stadium.
Contact tower on 119.9 when inbound on the approach.
Or one direction, I should say.
Cessna Golf Sierra Alpha traffic is 9 o'clock 4 miles at 1,000.
So it looks really cool, right? Always looking forward to those world updates and also looking forward for the feedback which other people might have which are really living in those cities, because they are, I'd say, the best judges in this case. You can see some churches also below us, right? But without point of interest. So those are, say, part of the big data. So leave a comment if you think this scenery is really cool, or if you say, hey, it's not, I would say, 100% up to date, or what you think about it. Feel free to leave it in the comment box below. Always like to see that feedback. So first stop is the Montreal Botanical Garden, and then the last and final stop probably is the stadium, which is on the right side currently. So here in front of us we see the Botanical Garden, right? So a lot of nature.
Is 1 o'clock 4 miles at 3,300 feet generic. Report them in sight.
Probably normally they are more detailed, right? But this already looks, say, nice. So let's start making it to the to the right so we can fly over the Olympic Stadium. We should watch out because you just saw that it was, I would say, pretty big, right? If you look at it from here, you can already see it, right? So here's the Olympic Stadium, and that's one of the handcrafted buildings, and that's where you can really see the difference, right? This looks really so detailed compared to, let's say, photogrammetry content. So really cool to see that they added this building as part of the World Update number 11, which has been released earlier today. So if you didn't try it yet, install it and have a look at it yourself. Here ends this video. In this video we flew over Montreal, which is one of the cities which received both Point of Interest but also photogrammetry content update. Hope you liked it. If you liked it, then press the like button. If you got questions or comments, then feel free to post in the comment box below. And if you want to stay up to date about new videos I'm posting, then make sure that you subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching and see you next time.